We're live. Oh man, hey, hold on. Let me just do a quick. And I clicked the wrong thing. As I'm really good at this. I want to stop the camera. There we go. See, we got like the. Well, you can't see my hand. There it is. We got that like pulsating text thing, which indicates that the microphone is working. Hello, welcome, my host Leslie. And as you can see, my desk is still the mess it was last week because I haven't read a dang thing. In fact, I don't think I've touched this since last week's show. So we need to clear some space off here, and then we can kind of take the rest of the stream from that moment. Oh man, Ninja Weasel is calling me out right out of the gate. Right out of the gate. No chill. Absolutely no chill. Negative chill. Bruh. Bruh. Come on. Just because I've been doing this thing for a long time doesn't mean I've been doing this thing with StreamYard for a long time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. Let me get my stuff ready here. I get like my shop gives me the weirdest bags, man. This is a bag for a local grocery store, which I guess he gave me because one of the books I got today out of the 75-cent bin was kind of oversized. Oh gosh, can we get in there? Yeah, there you go. See, Woodman's. I've only shopped at like Woodman's like twice ever. Uh, kind of big store. Going out for comfort of all. There is no mercy in this dojo, bro. Absolutely brutal. All right, let me move some stuff around. Wow, I cannot see now. Ninja Weasel's got me all nervous. I can't even pick things up. Like everything is just kind of going sideways, man. Kind of going sideways. Ever since this Ninja Weasel guy showed up, started calling me out on my own stream. Started being like, "Oh man, I'm calling you out on your own stream," and now here I am. I'm just suffering from it. I'm suffering for it. There we go. Let's see, maybe rotate the camera ever so slightly down. All right, now we're ready. This might end up being kind of short, but I think usually when I say it's going to be kind of short, we end up going for like 17 hours. So maybe I just jinxed myself by saying that. Maybe not. I don't know. Get this stuff out of here. Now, I do most of my shopping. You should be used to this. I should be. I should be used to this. I do most of my shopping at Graham Cracker Comics. And when you go to a Graham Cracker Comics, you get 3 books out of the what used to be 50-cent bin, but is now the 75-cent bin for free. And one of those books was kind of interesting. Like I'm not entirely sure what this is. If it's a program for Comic-Con 2006 or what. It's got a 50-cent sticker on the front, a 50-cent sticker on the back, and oh man, look at that. You can get Lois and Clark seasons 1 and 2 on DVD. Look at that. Look at that. And you get a free Superman Returns movie ticket inside each one. Wow. Isn't that amazing? I remember Lois and Clark. I watched a couple episodes of that when I was a kid. That was all right. I don't remember Superboy at all. And of course, George Reeve as Superman is iconic and classic. Like if your name does not have Reeve in it, you shouldn't be Superman. There's Lone Wolf and Cub on it. Lone Wolf and Cub, drawn by Frank Miller. I'm 99% sure. Isn't that it down there? FM? Frank Miller? Not even Superman can make me think this thing, make me not think this thing. Okay, whatever, man. Whatever. Anyway, I'd flipped it open and there's like bios of creators and stuff in here. I'm guessing these were guests at the show. Like Ray Bradbury biography. I would have liked to have met Ray Bradbury. He passed away, didn't he? And George Perez, I would have liked to have met him too. He's on his last legs these days. So I like flipped this open and I saw that stuff. And I saw like random bits of art and all that. And hey, there's your favorite comedy show right here, Ninja Weasel. So I just thought, hey, I don't know if this was like you know exactly what this was for San Diego Comic Con, but I thought it was really cool. And for the low price of free, how could I pass it up? Like, it doesn't even really matter what this is. There's just all kinds of neat stuff in here. Sure, the book is pretty beat up and all that, which, hey, Briscoe County Jr., that's a show I vaguely remember. I haven't watched that in ages, man. That came on, I don't even remember what channel that came on. It was one of the, it wasn't like Fox. It was like, the United Paramount Network, maybe? I don't remember. But anyway, it was a pretty good show at the time. I think they moved its time slot on me a couple of times, so I never got to like watch the whole thing. Oh, Alex Toth, Spokane Junior's great. Yeah. Anyway, it just seemed like a pretty fun little thing. Yeah, this is totally like the program for the convention. Because here we go, an ad for Bud Plant. Welcome you to San Diego Comic Con. There you go. So low price of free. I got this thing. Pretty cool. Sup, March Hair? How are you doing? You know, I would put the link in the chat, but I bet you guys wouldn't come chat with me, would you? I bet you wouldn't. I bet you want to keep all those chats to yourself. You know, just hoard all them chats. Don't share them with anybody. Don't let other people know what you got going on. I lost my place here. I had something I was going to look at, and now I've lost it. Well, it gives me a chance to open up the mod view for the stream real quick. So let me do that. Brian Ball was planning on being here with me, and he couldn't make it tonight. So no me and him making fun of people. If you were hoping to see some of that, I wasn't sure he'd be able to make it though, because he's got a bunch of stuff going on, and he's got to take care of business, you know. And I don't want to add to the man's stress. But it's been a pretty interesting kind of day. And hey, while we're here, let me pull this up. Here at work, hey, yeah. Uh, there's been some times where it's like I could have hopped on some like open mic streams and stuff and talked to people during business hours, but I got an office mate. I didn't always have an office mate, but right now I have an office mate, and he might wonder what the heck I'm doing when I'm not talking to, you know, talking about stuff we're supposed to be talking about. But hey, I wanted to formally eulogize H1 Comics. Now, I don't remember if you remember this, like 2.5 years ago, this was supposed to revolutionize comic books. This was supposed to be the hotness, the thing that would break Humanoids Publishing into North America, the thing that would make all those cringy, evil comicscape people, whatever's, like, make them rue the day they existed, that kind of stuff. Hold on. Let me open up my Trello real quick. Make sure I didn't have any topics I wanted to talk about in Trello before I keep going here. So H1. Oh, this says October 2018. This says October 2019. I don't remember which date. 2018 actually sounds more correct to me, but I'm not gonna sweat it too much. Let's see. Did I have? No, it must be my other one. Because I thought I had a link in here or something. Yeah, okay. So I just had a note here to talk about H1. And they kind of didn't do anything. Here's the cast of people involved. Absolutely top flight personnel. These are the best, absolutely the best people you could possibly have working on something. I think Mark Wade is kind of past his sell by date. And honestly, I don't know, like, some of these people I just have no real idea about, like, who they are, what they do. Uh Kwanzaa's a little bit notorious in certain circles. And ultimately, like, that's about it. Like, there's just some people, they were supposed to do cool stuff so that humanoids could break. Yeah, here, this is from, I remember seeing H1 Ignition on Free Comic Book Day. So they were totally founded in 2018. This is wrong. Wade was involved in it, man. He's right here. Mark Wade, Director of Creative Development. And he kind of took over because nobody else was really turning out product. There was not a lot of stuff getting produced by anybody. And so it just kind of became like the Wade thing is kind of how I think it went down. Now, I may be wrong on that. That is entirely possible. And I'm trying to find something because I didn't have a link to what I was looking for. Now I can't find it. I am totally not finding whatever it was I was looking for. I know there was something I was looking for, and I'm trying to Google H1, and it just ain't working. Anyway, the whole thing, none of these books really sold well. Humanoids didn't make any progress with this stuff. None of this went anywhere, and it all quietly folded. The pandemic, the paper shortage, all that kind of stuff that afflicted the comic book world, late in 2020, early in 2021, just kind of piled up. We're like at the 1 year mark of this thing. And it is what it is. They quietly folded up. I couldn't find like real news articles or anything about that. It seems to have just kind of quietly passed in the night. So I guess it is what it is. Um, I don't know what Humanoids was thinking because this does not seem like the crew to bring European style comics to America. Like if you look at this list of names here, is any of this really coming off to you as kind of like the edgy people who will make stuff that feels edgy? Like none of these people feel that way. Maybe Wade 20 years ago. The modern Mark Wade? Probably not. He's too busy like slamming his phone on the ground and screaming and then crying at it. Like, okay, he was doing that 20 years ago, but you kind of get my point. Like, this is not exactly the edgy crew. And Humanoids produces high art stuff, which also has like an edge to it. It's a little more liberated than the kind of things that you see typically in modern mainstream Western comics. So this whole thing kind of felt weird for a long time. And I'm not surprised that it collapsed. What I am surprised is that I don't think in the last year until I saw like one person on Twitter just casually mention a couple weeks ago that H1 died. Like I don't think I didn't even remember it existed. Let me put it that way. I didn't remember that it even existed. And that is a bad place for any company to be. Like when you got somebody who is interested in the field of study or the topic or whatever, and they don't even know that you exist, that's kind of sad. Some of these people infected heavy metal, says March Hare. I don't read heavy metal. I will have to take your word for that. So yeah, rest in peace. 1 year anniversary or so. H1 Comics. You probably won't be missed. All right. I'm going to mute my microphone and take a drink, and then we will look at the next thing. The next thing. What a mess, man. What a mess. I mean, I understand a lot of companies out there, you know, they live, they have their life, and then they die. Like, that's just normal business. It's called creative destruction. Things come into existence, they either do well or they fail. We're all supposed to learn from that experience and do better. But sometimes things just seem like they're founded in, I don't know, founded in a way that does not really say this is going to be successful. All right, I'm going to take that drink now and be right back. Okay, sorry about that little break. You know how it is, man. Sometimes you just gotta get a drink of, you know, your Snapple here, which wouldn't be Snapple, but I can't get the tea that they make, that they sell like the Aldi store brand tea. So I got to settle for what I can get, which in this case is Snapple. Which I guess that's okay, but man, I hate paying like an arm and both legs for a drink. Okay, you ready for this? Because what do I got? What do I got? You ready? You ready? You are so ready. There's the other two books I got out of the 75-cent bin today. They were right next to each other. Unity number 0, Unity number 1. There was also Archer and Armstrong right next to him, but it looked like it had been scuffed up a whole lot. So yeah, just steadily working on my Valiant collection. I didn't even flip these open, man. I just saw them and I was like, yeah, we're gonna go for it. Oh, that looks pretty cool. This is a great. We were just talking about like humanoids. This is a great like kind of panel that you would see in a European comic. I dig it. That's pretty dope. I'm looking at this stuff on the big screen up here instead of like having a hunch over the desk. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but that's pretty cool looking too. Is that is that the phone booth from Bill and Ted? It is so the phone booth from Bill and Ted. Ninja Weasel. Oh, back your internet dipped out. That's Ninja Weasel. Look, it's a phone booth from Bill and Ted. It's got to be. Like this dude's making a phone call. Okay, dudette is making a phone call, and then like boom, somebody was not excellent to somebody else right there. Well, that's all I'm saying was going on with that. A clear lack of excellence. Hoping these will be good, but man, how many parts did this say? Like this says chapter blippin 18 up here. Yeah, Rufus does not approve. You are correct. And that's from issue 0 to 1. Like, what was this, like 3 months between these things? That seems crazy to me. Seems kind of crazy, but what do I know? I just work here. I just live here, man. I just occasionally read comic books and then talk about them on the internet. You know how that is. You know how that is. Mm-mm-mm-mm. All right, let's flip open number 1. See what it looks like. One thing that a lot of these Valiant books have is, especially the early ones, Jim Shooter kind of like enforced the house style, just like he did at Marvel, just like every editor did up until the 90s. And you can definitely like feel the continuity of styles, even when it's a little bit different. The coloring is similar between books. The character designs stay on target. They stay on model. Stuff just looks pretty cool. These robots look pretty cool up here. This must be Magnus the Robot Hunter. You can tell because he has an M on his belt, or Robot Fighter, whatever his name is. And he is fighting some robots. It's beautiful. I like that panel. Original Shadow Man over here is looking kind of goofy though. Definitely looking a little bit goofy. I don't know. I've kind of gotten used to like more modern looks of Shadow Man. In fact, I guess that's a great segue into the next book, and I just absolutely hate this cover for the next issue of Shadow Man. Like, I don't really want Punk Mambo on the cover of my Shadow Man book, but here we are, living it. This is Shadow Man. I think it's number 7, and I'm gonna like flip through till I find. Yeah, see, I really like the more modern look for Shadow Man here, wearing like the skull face paint and stuff. Like, I think that's way more dope than the like blue metal mask. Cool character, kind of a lame costume, way better costume. Like, whatever. You can argue with me about that if you want, but you will be absolutely, completely incorrect. What a terrible cover. You should never make your female characters, or any character for that matter, look like Jack Nicholson. Like, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Number one, only Jack Nicholson can look like Jack Nicholson being Jack Nicholson. being crazy, which is just the natural state of Jack Nicholson. Like that's what he built his career on. That's how he lived his life. Every day Jack Nicholson woke up. Instead of choosing the path of sanity, he chose crazy. We could all learn a lesson from Jack Nicholson. We could all also probably get like a career in acting if we did the same thing. Like I don't know what you got to do there, but it might just work out for you. So that's a pretty cool page. This dude, like every time I turn the page in this thing, I'm just seeing something cool looking. Like this dude looks cool. This is a pretty cool panel. This the whole thing just looks really pretty dope, dude. This run of Shadow Man has been really impressive. They took a weird like couple month hiatus or whatever, and that was kind of off putting. But it has been a lot of fun. It is way better than the prior run back in like 2018. That had its ups and it had a lot of meh. And boy, it had a couple issues where I was like, yeah, okay, I read it. I guess I can move on with my life. So much of that book seemed disconnected from the Shadow Man character, even though it was supposed to be like all these different Shadow Men. The best, like, I guess, like, really the best part of that was like the, oh, and they never lived, like, they totally had this dude who was like draining the life out of people, like introduced in like issue one, and we never revisited that. We never went back to whatever that was. Instead, we just went like for Mr. Dark or whatever his name was, and his like Loa summoning, or maybe it was his sisters. I don't even remember anymore. And that was cool. But I really like the prehistoric, like the 4,000 years ago, dawn of civilization, Shadow Man, where the dude had to fight like this evil shaman that ate souls or whatever. Like that was a pretty cool like 2 issue bit. But this series has had action, it's had horror, it's had atmosphere, it's had pretty good writing. Some of the like narration boxes in previous issues have been really solid and really good and done a lot to enhance the comic book. So Shadow Man has been a great run. This issue just has an atrocious cover, and I thought the cover was actually the back cover. I thought this was an ad for like another Valiant book, but it's not. The back cover is actually an ad for Shadow Man Remastered, the video game. Shout out to Ninja Weasel, because I think he likes that game. I got to play that game. I think I own it like twice. So I really got to get around to playing that at some point. But that point is not today or right now. Let's see. Oh man, I was gonna go like watch Cody Fernandez talk about Jack Irons, but he's he's not doing it. Oh, and he just dumped us on Dojo Kun Comics Shill Shack. Okay, who's he got on here? It's is that Don Chen? You bro, I'm like 90% sure you're the one who mentioned this to me. Oh my gosh. Did we fall through a universe? Is this not the correct universe anymore? Oh, no, I don't actually own it on Steam. No, 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 no. I'm not crossing up with Shadowrun. I would have sworn you mentioned like the original, like late '90s version of this or early 2000s version of this. Like it was like a PS1 game or something. I'm like 90% sure you mentioned this to me like 10 years ago, but maybe I hallucinated that. I fell through into a different universe. Can I show my Steam window? Oh no, wait! I can put the Steam window in Chrome. Hold on, hold on. We can load up. We can load this up. We can watch the trailer together. Go share this tab. Add to stream. Turn on the audio. Ooh, it's kind of loud in my headset. I don't know how loud that is for you guys. Is the trailer really just like the brand intros? You're not going to show anything about the game? Oh, I don't think I can make it any louder, man. I don't think I could make that trailer any louder because the PC volume is maxed out, and the little volume here is maxed out. And I don't think I have a separate volume slider for shared audio. I see automatically adjust mic volume. Let's see. No, I got to figure this out. Like, this isn't just, oh, I'm over here and I'm like, oh, yeah, well, I'm just going to rewatch it or whatever. I would like to figure out, like, if there's a way I can control that volume. And I'm just not seeing it. Unless somehow adjust mic volume was doing the same thing. Guess viewer comment. Yeah, there's nothing in these settings that would do it. Maybe there is if I share. Let me yank the share away, and then we'll come up here. Let's see. Chrome tab, share tab audio. Yeah, there's no volume marker here either. Huh. Well, I hope it was at least not too quiet. But yeah, I would have sworn you're the one who mentioned this to me a long time ago. But I guess not. I guess not. Okay, let's see. Oh, Gabe El Taib. Yeah, okay, this other stream's got some people in it, but I don't know that they're talking about anything like dramatic that would be fun to make fun of. So I think we should go have some fun. Despite all the time that's passed since I first grabbed this, I have not had a whole lot of chance to to go through it and like pull out the most interesting allegations. We should make this a little bigger so you all can see it. There we go. All right, so this is the filing, and there's been no news about the Action Lab Comics thing. So I don't know if there just hasn't been any other filings or what. But I thought we could like go through this, and you could see like some of this really crazy stuff. Yeah, the class is alleging a whole lot of things. Here's the general allegations. We covered this stuff in video, like I don't know, like a month ago when this was like fresh and hot and juicy news. Actually, let me shut my camera off. You don't need to look at the books. I want you to concentrate on looking at the allegations. So this is like a lot of the stuff that really seems kind of crazy. Hey, we're going to assign you to print your books. A lot of these creators did not get their books printed. Hey, here's what's going on. Like what the rules are. They didn't live up to what the rules were. They said they would print the books. They would market the books. They would promote the books. They would report sales and income. And they didn't do any of those things. They literally didn't do any of those things. I remember on the last video, when the last time I talked about this, I showed the Action Labs website. Oh, hold on. We can pull that up real quick. Action Lab Comics. And here we go. Let me just share this. Here's their website. This is it. I understand you can be in a position where you're transitioning from one website to another, but this has been their website for months, for literally months. I don't think something new actually is coming. I also don't know why a really small company really needs three separate comic imprints. Like the difference between Action Lab and Action Lab Danger Zone seem pretty much fictional. Nobody likes working with these people, and they really just failed everything. Their Twitter is a wasteland. Their Facebook is a wasteland. Do they even have a Facebook? Hold on. The Twitter's a yeah. They got a Facebook, and their Instagram is also a wasteland. Their website has nothing on it. It's just like straight up, they ain't nothing here. Like this hurts. This hurts. Change terms of agreements. Close their offices. They did that for like a month. They had nobody in the office. So creators were having to do all the work themselves. And like in the case of Gordon McLean, Um, a creator was driven to, well, he vanished without a trace and hasn't been seen in like 3 years now. Like that's the world we live in. Let's see if we can find like something really juicy in the actual individual allegations here, because you never know. There could be something really juicy just lurking in here, and I think there was because there's some numbers being thrown around. I mean, this is bad enough on its own. Action Lab failed to provide us with quarterly earnings reports and to pay the balance of said earnings on a reasonable schedule, despite the book regularly being published for a number of years. How do you run a company and not tell people, not say, hey, we sold 27 books this week? Like, that's pretty basic stuff. They failed to pay artists. Art's been left unpaid for years. For years. You want to talk about amateur hour? This is amateur hour. This harmed creators' credibility as artists, quit and refused to work on his books. Reputational damage, not just financial damage, reputational damage. When confirmed about digitally publishing issues, Action chose to remove them from Comixology rather than make good on payments they owed. Seaton told creators that he shut the company down twice in 2020, but he never told them that at the time or gave an explanation. Oh boy, like this is just amateur. Seaton refused to answer questions. Told creators his email had been locked. Not how to access it. You could just tell people, hey, that email account, it's locked. You could just send me an email at this other account. Dark Horse bought by a gaming company. Yeah, the Dark Horse thing. That's a weird one. And of course, Valiant isn't even remotely Valiant anymore. Valiant is run by a company that's just farming the IP for making movies. It's amazing they even have comic books as a product. You got to head out, Ninja Weasel. Enjoy your time in the sack. Get some rest. Get some rest. When creators asked for the contract to be voided because they're not fulfilling their side of it, Seaton called the creators and threatened to bankrupt them with legal fees. Woo! Harold, Lovecraft, and Tesla. In fact, I think I remember seeing these in a store once upon a time. Or am I thinking of like that one where Lovecraft is a kid? I'm probably thinking of that. Failed to provide sales reports. Formatting and content of the reports changed. They never received sales data for digitals. Oh, from Diamond and from digitals. There were no sales return numbers listed at all for 6 months. This violates the agreement. You didn't need to put that in there. That's a waste of a line. Your lawyer should have edited this out. Or you should have included this with one of your other statements, like this previous one. They failed to pay them. Paid on royalties only basis based on quarterly reports. These reports were also notoriously late. New payment schedule. All the line art for the final volume was done. The creators were then told invoices would not be approved until the month of each issue's release. They changed terms of the agreements and failed to compensate creators. Yeah, it probably was cool. I got one book that's part of a series called like the Boston Metaphysical Society. Conceptually, it's kind of cool because it's like that Tesla punk kind of stuff. But the book just didn't like really catch me enough to make me want to buy more of them. But it was still like interesting and kind of cool to flip through. Um, this might have been the case with this book too, or it might have been better than that. I don't know because funny thing, you can't really buy Action Lab comics. They don't print enough of them. Failed to pay creator page rates. Oh my lord. Look at line 133. Look at line 133. This guy, John Perez, Hey, Cody. Yeah, we're finally going through this. I was supposed to be streaming with Brian tonight, but he couldn't make it for various reasons. So instead of us stream sniping somebody and laughing at them, I was like, you know what? It's a good time to talk about humanoids just going away, which I don't know if you've heard, but H1, the company that was founded to produce like West American comics under the humanoids brand, uh, like that just went away like a year ago. Yeah, oof. And Zombie Tramp is the one book that every LCS had from Action Lab. One of my other stores had a book called like Gun Cats or something, and I liked the book, and I also liked making fun of the book. Knowing what I know now, I understand exactly why the book was exactly the way it was. But yeah, look at this. This dude is 25 grand in hock for his comic book. Creators sought to attempt crowdfunding to get money, but Action Lab threatened to take ownership of it, even though they were not paying for the books. What the heck? This is crazy talk. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Hold on, I'm gonna turn my camera back on just so I can like do this hand over on the side here. Like, what on earth am I even reading, dude? This is just absolutely, completely, totally crazy. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Once again, Action Lab did no marketing. You know what? This is a great time to just show the Action Lab webpage. Here's their corporate webpage. Look at this. Does this look like a company that's doing marketing? Absolutely not. This looks like a company that doesn't exist. This looks like a company whose name could be B2B squared, business to business, books to bucks. Like that's what this company looks like. This looks shady, like it's not even a real company. This looks fake. Oh my lord. They released the books in collected trade. They cut costs by printing the individual issues and trades at the same time. The book was poorly manufactured, trade paperback, below industry standards. Okay, but this allegation does not belong in this legal complaint because this is not legally actionable. They made a shoddy product is not the same thing as they didn't pay me or they broke the contract. If what they did here fulfilled the bare minimum of what the contract said, this isn't going to like be a claim that stands up in court. This is just going to get struck out of the record. But I get it. It's a complaint. You're painting a picture. You're trying to tell a judge, hey, this is serious. Once again, they didn't know how many books were sold. There's no record of cost for any promotion or advertising they did. Here's given the sum total that was tossed on the project's cost without any evidence. We have, oh my God. Oh my God. We have, once again, no paperwork. We have no paperwork. There is no paperwork. If there is no paperwork, the transaction did not actually happen. He did. Last campaign, and I think this next one that he just launched, I think there's a cover from him in it. I can't remember his name, but I can picture his art style because it's very distinctive. They were at conventions. Creator's book was not even collected as a trade until 2016, so there's nothing to sell, to promote, to justify the costs. Oh boy. Creator's never provided sales figures. The creator or Ale, he says the books cost $7,000. Spreadsheet is currently available, missing several years of revenue reporting. The books had an uptick in digital sales accounts. You launched their unlimited service, but no sales reported to the creator. Dan, it's Dan Mendoza. It's Dan Mendoza. That's his name. Thank you. You jogged the half of it I couldn't remember, Marchair. Bigfoot, Sword of the Earth. So 2015, release the individuals individually, they compile them in a trade. That's pretty standard. That's their business model. Costs, other costs are very small. Cost one would be postage just in the book's diamond, not really marketing or production costs, doesn't happen. Oh yeah, because you don't do marketing. You don't do marketing. Hey, Eli, no wonder that marketing isn't a big fee. We list them as other because of small amounts, but they can be broken out should you have a question. Blah, 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 blah. That's not how you do. Well, maybe this is the legal standard, but normally you would put the sick here in brackets to indicate that this was an error in the quotation, not in your transcription of the quotation. But maybe the legal standard is different. I don't know. Oh, Action Lab. Creator only got one royalty report. Advertising promotion listed as a cost of $520. You're looking at. God, no, no, no. Oh, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. I'm getting the notepad back out. We're getting the notepad out. Oh my lord. Whoo! Oh my lord. All right, let's turn the camera back on. Let's turn the camera back on. All right, so can I make this bigger without like completely shrinking the other thing? No, that doesn't help. Ah, that'll work. That'll work. All right. So I need a pen. Here we go. There's a little pen. All right. All right. So like these books typically sell like let's go with 5,000, okay? Let's say you sold 5,000 books. All right, you with me? Now, this is $5,000. Let's say you're charging an exorbitant price of $5 at the store. Now, only half of that is making it back to Diamond. Half of that is going back to the publisher. And out of this, you have to deduct the printing cost, which will go a little on the high side. These are modest print runs, so we'll just go with 50 cents a book. It was probably cheaper back then, but we're doing back of the envelope math here. This is like a Fermi problem. So we've got 75 cents. Hold on, I'm writing this backwards. So we got 5,000 units at 75 centaroos. So you're looking at what is that, like 37.50 or something for the amount of money that your book has now brought in. This has to go between the publisher and the whole creative team. The entire creative team. Now, I don't know about this book in particular, if there's a whole lot of creators on this, but you've got a writer, you've got at least one artist, a colorist, and a letterer. Now, of course, some of these roles can be combined, like this could be the same person, but you can also split this out into two completely separate roles, maybe even three. In fact, colorist is sometimes split out into two separate roles. We have a flatter and then the guy who comes in and does the detail work. Plus the publisher who has now stolen $500 out of this till. So now for 20 something pages of work, you're trying to pay off at least two people, probably three, maybe four or five, with $3,000, which is let's see, what is that? That's like $100 a page split 5 ways or something. Like this is abysmal. Yeah, how are you making anything? You're not. Indie comics are either things done for the love of making comics, and you can talk to Cody about the love of making comics over there, or it's chicken feed. And you have people taking page rates of like $10 a book. I saw published page rates a couple years ago that was like Archie was paying the artist who was the, I believe, the penciler and the inker like $20 a page, because the pay is so small. There's no money in this business. Now, this is, of course, I'm not in the comic book industry. This is just kind of what I know for how these sorts of things work from when I worked at a bookstore, because we would get in like a trade paperback and it would cost us half of the list price. So with the trade paperback cost like $6, we had paid the publisher $3. I don't know how common that is across the board at every kind of store, but that's how it worked for us. So generally, in these sorts of things, you double the price at each step. So I probably should have started like 50 cents here and went to like $1, $2, $4 or something. But you know, we're back at the enveloping here. There is no money here. There's absolutely no money. Let's go back up. Let's go back. Now, this is per issue, of course. So I don't know how many issues this Archon dude produced here. But if it's more than that's what I want. That's what I want. That's like at $3,000 an issue. Hopefully, he made like 8 to 12 issues here, so he could actually like theoretically the book could be in the black instead of the red. Now, of course, the Action Lab, they also sell trade paperbacks, which those are kind of premium products. You can sell those for like $15, and they cost uh the work, the manpower is already paid for. So those are essentially like pure profit. Like that's just becomes like a profit item. I did unclick this. Yes. Okay, good. I did. We're not about to like scribble all over my comics by accident. But this is just there's no money here, and Action Lab Comics is stealing what little money there is. Right here. Right here. I just want you to look at this for a minute. Cody, if you want to get in here, actually, you know what? Hold on. I don't know if anybody even wants to get in here, but I'm gonna do something crazy. If somebody does want to join, like I am, oh man. Here, here, boom, in the chat. You can come on here and yak at me if you want. Like that's where I'm at in my life right now. Lord, what a mess. Creators receive no accounting of books sold at conventions. Company switched to a Google spreadsheet to capture revenue, but there was no accounting of marketing, advertising, convention sales on the spreadsheet. The book was released digitally. The sales report didn't cover all those digital sales when sales numbers would have been their highest. Yeah, that's because they didn't want to pay you. They didn't want to pay you. God. It's a scheme. It's a scam. Like, this is just all completely, totally messed up. Dude is a mismatch. Hey, I think I remember seeing Aberrant in the stores. I remember it caught my eye because there's a role playing game, a pen and paper role playing game about people with superpowers called Aberrant. It's set in the modern day. I don't remember if it uses the same dice system as Godlike does, but I remember seeing this because of the name, because it stuck out to me so much. 5 month printing delay between issues 4 and 5 because of mismanagement. The trade was delayed for 6 months. As a result, Amazon kept canceling people's pre orders, removing the book from the site completely. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Despite these delays, and defense usual practice of grossly overprinting, Aberrant was in solid financial shape after the first volume wrapped up. Oh, this one hurts, man. But it plunged into deep and hopeless debt during the rollout of the second volume due almost exclusively poor management and gross neglect on the part of Action Lab. Our release of season 2 issues was delayed over and over again for months at a time. Orders were canceled due to the delays. It was impossible for the creator to promote the release of the trade paperback or volume 2 without knowing when the books would come out. Yes! Oh my lord, I'm dying. I'm dying over here. I gotta get a cough drop, man, or I'm gonna start just coughing in your guys' ears. Because I'm getting carried away. I'm ranting. Uh, there's wild gesticulation off camera. Like I am just going ape. I am going ham over here. Oh Lord. Creator had to cancel signings and events. Many people thought the event or the series had been canceled. This is reputational damage right here. Lord. All right, I got a cough drop. An email dated blah. Action Lab admitted the delays harm sales and pre-orders. Where they may be a factory point is with Volume 2. Have you known about this? Is this shouldn't be in the complaint. This is like a internal note here. Their lawyer should have cropped this out. Oh, this is a quotation. I'm sorry. I should notice the indentation here. This is the quotation from the email. Where's the email? The email needs to be an exhibit. You have already placed things into exhibit. The email should just be one. That's kind of a smoking gun. Despite knowing pre-orders are low, Seaton ordered an absurd number of Series 1 trades and Series 2 individual books, burying this product in hopeless debt. Seaton's old creator must pay for all those extra issues at a cost of 15 grand in order to get his property back. How many issues? How many books is this? Like, Action Lab should have been paying 50 cents or so a copy for a floppy comic and probably like a buck or two for like a collected trade. Well, I guess it depends. That depends strongly on the number of issues that got printed. My bad, my bad. So he may be paying several dollars, but let's say you got like I don't know, 2,000 trades at $5. Yeah, that would do it. That'd be like 10 grand right there. Holy moly. This is a scam. This is a scam, man. This is absolutely a scam. There's no other way to look at it. It is an SCAM scam. That's my opinion. I'm not a lawyer. But there's no other way to look at it, in my opinion. As of this date, they haven't provided any accounting for over a year. Whoo, never before creators company was spending money on. Yeah, like the advertising, that didn't happen. Digital sales figures were not accounted for. They did nothing to promote it. Mm-mm-mm. Action Lab really publicized here. All right, this is something that I know Cody, who was in the chat. I don't know if he's still hanging out with us. I hope he is. But this is something I know that Cody does very, very well because I see him like reposting, reviews that I have done of his books from like 2 years ago. I appreciate that. But that is also one way to promote material is you just go, hey, here's what people are saying about the material I'm trying to promote. Look how cool this is. If you don't let people know about how cool your thing is, nobody's going to know how cool your thing is. Okay, AOLE with finance distribution. There'd be no funding for production. First property, da da da, a residual payment for $257. Ah, March Hare. Look at 167. Then look at 168. 167. Creator owned. So that means the writer or whoever owns the property had to pay for the artist, for everything. And so they sold enough books. They sold a grand total of enough books for a royalty payment, for a total sales payment going into their pocket of $257.38. Whoo! Oh my lord. Dude, it's absolutely brutal. And yeah, you shouldn't be flashing people. It's one thing to show people things, it's another to flash people things. You know what I'm saying? Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm. This is just absolutely just, it gets worse. The more I read this stuff, the more I look at this stuff, the worse it gets. They didn't provide numbers. Uh, Action Lab, reputational damage right here. Action Lab's reputation adversely impacted the creator's efforts to sell an animated series based on the property. In 2020, during a meeting with actor producer Seth Green and reps from his company, creators informed they did not want to work with Action Lab because of Action Lab's poor reputation. On September 5th, 2021, creator asked for the rights of property returned. Seaton offered to pay outstanding royalties, demonstrating that Action Lab and Seaton have been withholding funds from creators. Whoo! March Hare, the 1 minute man, apparently. I guess it's kind of keeping in line with the whole rabbit like aesthetic, huh? Hey, speaking of, I think I posted this on Yeah, it's just super zoomed in on my camera. It's super zoomed in on my camera, but this little guy's living in my backyard. I caught him taking a nap the other day, which is really funny because he startled awake. Like he was clearly like out of it. And then he just suddenly, boom, wide awake. Oh my lord. Panic has set in and he started running, man. It was great. Moving release dates. Each and every printing or publishing date for all 5 issues of these books. In fact, I think I remember seeing Jupiter Jet in the stores. Were moved from 1 week to months without any notice from Action Lab. Per the contract, their first quarterly profit reports on a single one went to creators. The only time Action Lab ever updated the aforementioned Google spreadsheet was when threatened with legal action in 2021. Upon information belief, the spreadsheet was incomplete. Creators were entitled more than what was reported. Creators received no accounting of books sold at conventions. This is like the fourth or fifth one of those. Creators promised help selling properties that received no support whatsoever from Action Lab. Yeah, well, I don't think that would have went so well for you because right up here, 169, Action Labs scared away potential buyers. Creators funded the whole series themselves without any assistance from Action Lab, incurring a lot of expenses. Okay? Are you noticing the repetition of complaints? This isn't like one guy has a problem. We've been through 7 people who all have variations on the same problems. If you have 7 people who all say something is wrong and there's no evidence to the contrary, with not like it's a he said she said kind of situation, you have 7 people going, oh yeah, that person is right. When you have 7 people alleging in court very specific things, there's a good chance that there's some meat on those bones. If this was just them spouting off on Twitter or whatever, I would be taking a different tack. It'd be like, look at this, kind of like that first Action Lab video I did, where it's like, look at this crazy situation where they're making this guy buy his books to get his property back. Creator signed a contract, da da da. Creator requested number of modifications. Exhibit M. I don't have access to the exhibits. I do not have a account on the website to get this stuff. So, you know, that's just how it is. Under duress, Creator signed the agreement as is. This timeline doesn't make any sense. I don't know it. I don't think I've heard that, but I'm willing to believe it. Sorry if you hear the cough drop in my mouth. I'm trying not to like cough drop it, but it's kind of hard to avoid. This timeline doesn't make any sense. You signed it here, but you requested modifications after you signed it, but you signed it under duress. I don't understand this. Yeah, this is pretty common. Lots of people haven't gotten any communication from Action Labs. They decided not to publish projects in print and release solely on digital. Books were released 1 week apart from each other, which hindered any promotional efforts the creator had planned. When physical books were available, the creator was told, or creator was not told, hurting the book sales by preventing creator from marketing and promoting his work. That's again like one of the complaints, like the general complaints from way up above, was that Action Lab was not printing people's books. And here we got somebody going, they weren't printing my books. It's not bothering you. Well, I hope it's not bothering anybody else, man. I would be coughing constantly if I didn't have this cough drop in my mouth. I could use some background music, but I don't know how to get that going properly here with StreamYard. We'll try. I guess I should wrap this up. Like, it's just a repetition. Oh no, Creator never once provided any data regarding digital sales. Everybody said that. Superhuman resources. Da da da. So reprints, single issues. They believe the sales figures weren't correct based on what Diamond said. They only received one sales report. They did not expend funds to market the book and did the bare minimum to promote it, even though Diamond awarded the book a distinction, referring to it as certified cool. Certified cool. That sounds pretty cool. That's kind of a joke. I'm not quite sure why there's like so many people grouped together in one thing here. Oh, this is the one where it's a company alleging the complaint. Okay. They published a bunch of issues, da da da, ordered 7,000 copies from two stores, but the quarterly reports from ALE did not reflect these purchases. The creators, oh, bro. So the creators were trying to get copies of their books through stores. Action Lab undercut sells printed books selling digital copies of the trade for nothing. They were giving them away because only received one payment for an Action Lab for $700. Okay, you go through the trouble of 160 pages of comic books, 160 pages. You get 796. Hold on, what calculator? Calculator. Help me out here. Calculator. Let's see. 796 divided by 8. That's 99 bucks. That's $100 a book. So you're getting $5 a page. All right. Let's see. So you got, yeah, it'd be 160 pages. So 796 divided by 160. 497. Yeah. $5 a page. Five. Picture page, picture page. Yeah, we didn't do that calculation on paper. $5 a page. you, you can't even buy dog food for a dog for what they were getting paid, man. They received the introductory handbook. Oh, they never got the exhibit. Never got comp copies. This just keeps going. Careers book was never added to the Action Lab website. Well, let's once again show the current status of the website. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Does that look like the website of a company that is healthy? The website of a company that is out there trying to sell books to people? The answer, no. No, it's not. Bro, I feel this. There are some books out there that have, yeah, definitely can't live off that. Oh, I'm not showing my screen. Hold on. So lots of delays, and then they finally agreed to print the final two issues, but who knows how long that took to happen? Because required to produce 40 pages of additional material for the project, only have Action Labs elect not to use the material. Creators are charged a fee to have their books sold at comic conventions. Charges count against the book for privilege of having them actually sell the book. What? 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 Actually, did no promotion. They had to hire a promotional agent. Reviewer Precision Magazine was ordered to review the book. Requested a print copy of the trade. Actually, they promised to have a print copy created for the reviewer, but failed to do so. And they can't get out of their contract. It keeps going. I'm going to stop like reading off of these individual things, and we're just going to like scroll down here for anything that. Oh, never mind. Right here on this screen, creator learned her book was on pirated websites and informed Action Lab. They refused to take any steps. So even though Action Lab is the copyright holder because they're the publisher, they told the creator to write and send them. Oh man, creator went months at a time without receipt. Okay, that's normal. That's normal. It's sad when that becomes normal. Oh, these are shenanigans. Creator contacted Action Lab and Seton told her that the problem was that Action Lab was changing printers because the trade didn't come out. Okay, and the printer refused to release them. Sure, they didn't. Creator had to cancel book signs because there's no book to promote when the book was finally set to be released. Creator was not informed, so she could not promote it. Da da da. Hurt sales of the book at a convention in San Diego. What? So I tried to buy a book, but the person manning the table refused to sell the book. Well, then she shouldn't have had to man the booth. Go do something else. You don't have to work here. You don't have to work for daddy. Never been told how many units were sold at conventions, how many were printed. Delays blamed on Diamond, falsely. Nutmeg. Action Labs stopped providing reports. They're forced to promote it themselves. This is a common refrain. Overprinted the book, hundreds of copies more than the market would have called for, making it impossible to turn a profit. Ran into the maelstrom. I've never heard of this. So out of nowhere, the creator had to prove proofs for printing the first issue. Releases were delayed. So no communication. Releases were delayed. No marketing. No communication about sales. The book sold over 1,200 copies. 1,200. Bro. Bro. 1,200. 1,200 copies at 75 cents each. What is that? That's like 900 bucks. That's like 900 bucks. It's not worth it to produce a book at that price. Don't do it. Creator never got money. The creator never got money. Oh my god. Not only did they not sell anything, but they never got any money for what little they did sell. Failed to promote. Scholastics and sold well. Action Lab took its cut. Yeah, it is ridiculous. Took its cut and paid a portion to the creator. And then Action Labs just didn't want to do the job with Scholastic. Oh my god. Action Lab Comics. The camera's coming on again. Action Lab Comics had an in with Scholastic. Granted, the prices when you sell through Scholastic are not great, but you can make that up on volume. Like if you sell 10,000 books through Scholastic, you're going to have 10,000 people who have seen your book and seen your name and might turn into customers who buy another book from you. Like, oh, the volume 2 that Scholastic doesn't want to sell. Oh, this is, we don't just have like crazy unethical things happening here, crazy potentially illegal things happening here, crazy potentially contract violating things happening here. We just have straight up bad business. If you can sell to Scholastic, you sell to Scholastic because you're going to move tons of units. Scholastic has at schools basically a captive audience of people who come in with like $5 from their parents and they get to buy a book, or $10 or $20, whatever. You know, you get that money and they can buy books from Scholastics. And if you've sold a bunch of books through Scholastics, you should want to keep doing that. The per profit or the per unit profit isn't great, but you get such volume because you're selling to an audience who is the target audience for your product, and they only have a limited selection to pick from. Making the cut is amazing. Career launched a funding campaign. Career was involved in these promotional efforts. Action, I felt to get involved. I launched logistics of fulfillment cells. Actually, that printer hit up and secure. Oh man. Oh. You're a publisher. Action Lab Comics. You're a publisher. Your one job. Your one job is to talk to printers and get things published. And you don't even have a printer for something that you have locked in cells for. You know how many books you're going to sell, and you don't have a printer lined up. Books are printed, but they order too many. Once again, the creator had to buy copies from Action Lab to sell himself. That's like that one complaint like 2 people ago where they tried to buy 7,000 books, or where they bought 7,000 books through a store for whatever reason. Oh my lord. Action Lab made an agreement with the Comstonology Lab readers to read the books for insignificant features, never told what download numbers were and how much they're supposed to be paid. That's also standard. Cold Blood Samurai sounds cool. Hold on, I'm gonna take a drink here. Dude got a deal to sell the book in France, and the French publisher complained of Seaton's unprofessionalism, and it took months to conclude the agreement after the parties had already approved basic terms. Oh my lord. All monies received under the agreement were obtained through the creators' efforts, not those of Action Labs. So Action Labs didn't pay this guy, except when he put a gun to their head. Digital first. Action Labs informed the creator target goal for sales. Yeah, so never. The market for the book was a single tweet and an email. No communication. People wanted to buy it in print, not digital. Books with no media, so travel more extravagantly printed comes from ALE. ALE printed digital books fall through the cracks, causing sales force creators to incur expenses. Spencer and Locke, I've seen their books before. And we got 2 royalty checks in 5 years. And not received any accounting for digital sales. Like, this just keeps happening over and over. Undisclosed additional printings of the books, was undisclosed number of books given away by Action Lab. Creator has no idea how many books have been printed, how many printings they've had. All those copies are counted against royalty payments. Creator is told he doesn't have a right to this information. You don't have a right to know why we're charging you so much money. God, of course he does. It's his book. It's his book. He has every right in the world to know how many copies you printed so that he can justify to himself the expenses that you're charging him for printing the books. You can't just say, yeah, you owe us $10,000 for printing books and not tell him that you printed 20,000 copies of the books or whatever it is. Like, there's just no way. There's no way you can run a business this way. Except they did. Books were delayed. Creators owed monies for excessive legal costs were incurred. Wait. Whoa. Again, here's a deal. Here's a deal. So, because his property has to be done through Action Lab, or Action Lab was doing the thing that they said they would do for everybody, which is try to sell the property. So, Action Lab refused to sign a deal for Spencer and Locke with Legendary Entertainment if Mr. Seaton couldn't get a producer credit and got money. Oh my God, I'm going to start coughing again. I'm getting carried away. Oh my Lord. Just look at the screen for a second. This is crazy. Sorry for that long break, but I had to get a new cough drop. Oh my Lord. It's just, it keeps going. They claim the book failed to make a profit, but it's available on digital. Sales reports and then no further. They failed to perform marketing or advertising except for a press release, a single press release. Here, I can type a press release for you real quick. Done. There we go. Send it out. Press release sent, delivered. My job here as the marketer is completed. That's abominable. That's abysmal. Creator made multiple attempts to claim his publishing rights, but the book was on Comixology. He received no sales support for years, including digital. He was offered the option to have his rights returned if he purchased all unsold copies. This was an exorbitant request and shows Action Labs improperly overprinted the book, failed to properly maintain its inventory at Diamond. Creator obtained legal counsel to contact ALE, but ALE never responded to that. Oh! Woo! Dude, you should have had your lawyer write a demand letter, and when they ignored it, you could have just walked into court and got a summary judgment. That you demand, hey, you need to retain all the records, and then you subpoena them, and when they don't comply because they don't have the records, you just show that to the judge. Oh my Lord. I wish I had like a Pacer account, which I guess I could get because you can look at a small number of Pacer filings, like pages, for free. It's like a couple thousand, I think. So maybe I'll do that at some point. But man, Bro. Creator asked Seaton what he and Action Labs can do to improve sales for Volume 3 and was told, I don't know. What can you do? Diamond cancel distribution of the print version of Volume 3 after Issue 1. Nobody Action Lab for Creator this happened. Creator still spending money to complete Volume 3. Well, Action Lab made Volume 2 a digital only release in Comixology. Again, without informing Creator. Creator's property rights. Okay, whatever. And it's the same thing. It's the hostage. You can get your rights back when you pay us 20 grand. You can get your rights back when you pay us 20 grand. No sales reports. Chris Project with $3,000 in debt. Or at least this isn't $20,000. Seen man 17. I said $20,000, and there it is. I set it up here. I set it down here, and here it is. Once again, 20 grand for the books. 20 grand. 20 grand. Oh my lord. What book was this? Slayer. I guess it's kind of clever. First issue of this Christmas themed property was released in November to capitalize on Christmas. Each issue is released monthly and on time without delay, yet Action Lab ignored the creator's books. Oh, for promotion. Okay, I understand now. Chris was to print multiple copies at his own expense to send to reviewers because Action Lab failed to. When you're a comic book company, you know what the one thing that's cheap for you to do things with? Comic books. It's like a chef. What's a cheap thing for a chef to have? Food. Comic book companies. It's comic books. Paperback publishers. It's paperbacks. You give those things out like candy for promotions. Kurosawa's books being sold at conventions and never provided sales for those copies. Once again, failed to provide sales reports here for Adventures of Arrow Girl. This never. So they just didn't pay them. These dudes got nothing, man. They got nothing, and it's the same story. 13 grand to get their book back. Hours don't matter. Thousands of dollars, that does matter. Where's the receipts? How much money did this cost you? How much do these variant covers from 5 renowned comic book artists cost for Carmine? Actually, I promised to offer Carmine in print and digital. Make a reasonable effort. The complete series delivered in 2020, but Seaton had resigned. No one's left in charge of the company. Seaton claimed to shut down Action Lab in March and could make no effort to support Carmine. Carmine was released during the time Seaton shut it down. All 5 issues came out digitally at the same time and swamped out any potential sales it might have had. Oof. I hate to tell you, critics don't drive comic demand. Critics are just people like me that get on the internet or they get on a web page and they just pontificate about things, and everybody rightfully ignores their opinion. My comic book reviews are just my dumb opinion and what I think. Every now and then I get like a little nugget of truth in there, but mostly it's just me BSing. It's like I like this or I don't like this. Maybe if you got the book in front of somebody really influential, like I don't know, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and got him to hold it up on camera, you could sell some books. But just getting it to some like internet critic, I don't drive sales of books. No critic on YouTube drives sales of books. Thinking that we do is a mistake. The best thing we can do is provide you with material that you can use as a creator to then go promote your book, like Cody does with all the reviews, good ones and bad ones. He's like, "Hey, here's all the times people have talked about my book," and he puts it on Twitter. It might even be on his website. I don't know. But that's what a critic can do for you. That's what a critic can do for the industry. Is hey, here's what I think, and then some people care about that. Most people shouldn't. Hmm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. So they didn't promote or do anything for the print release. Print issues. The issue 4 didn't come out. They printed issues 1 through 3, which apparently sold well. Like if Diamond didn't drop the series, Then they must have sold well, but then they never printed 4. Actually, I'm trying to blame Diamond, suggesting February Diamond had postponed the release. Uh huh. Mm hmm. Look at this. And the trade. Da da da. Seems false because actually had no plans to release print versions or the trade. And here's a. Yeah. Like, really, the best thing a critic provides in the marketplace of ideas as far as promotion goes is just, hey, here's a book. And you see the name somewhere. And maybe that name sticks in the back of your head. And you see it on the shelf and then you pick it up. That is something that I hope that I do when I'm talking about comic books. Like when I start talking about, oh man, Savage Avengers, so good. I hope somebody remembers Savage Avengers, and you pick the book up when you see it, and you go, that's interesting. This name is familiar to me. But you really shouldn't believe a critic when the critic is like going hog. Unless it's me. You can always believe me, of course. Leviathan Labs in Italy contacted ALE seeking rights to publish Carmine in Europe. ALE was shut down, contrary to its obligation, Ms. Douglas. So they didn't tell Douglas about it. They made no effort to engage with Leviathan, and there went money. There went probably a couple grand right there. Just poof, evaporated. Trade paperback, and the trade was supposed to come out in October and didn't come out until May. 6 months later. 6 months later. Here's a report that the book was never printed. It was not properly set up for a book market by Diamond. Seaton was working on publishing the project. They were informed the intent was to publish by October 2021. It was never published. Creators never received their comps. Here we go. No communication, no sales report, no comps. Rod Espinoza, he just went super straightforward, like no drama. Like up here we got like, oh, and they were closed, and here's my big paragraph of prose text. This dude is just like, they didn't do their job. The end. The end. If you're licensors at Action Lab, terminated license with the contract in mid 2019 because inter alia creators never paid. It'll pay. Oh God, what is this Latin? I forget. I don't remember what this Latin means. My Latin knowledge is limited to what I know from physics, basically, among other things. Okay, why do you just say among other things? Among other things, never being paid page rate, receive the license royalty, or terminating licensing agreement, revert the original contract back to the original agreement with Action Lab never signed. Oh, that seems like a mistake. He never got paid, never got reports. Two other books were both released in a licensing period, but neither paid a page rate. Hardcovers published by Dark Horse, but bought by Action Labs listens. What? That's weird. That's weird. This whole thing is super weird. And I don't get this. Actually, I ran a Kickstarter to launch Athena Voltaire. Oh, can we find that? Hold on. Athena Voltaire Kickstarter. Let's see if this still exists. Is this a thing? It's been delivered July 2020. This must be the thing. Or this is a follow up. Maybe this is a follow up one because up here, the licensing agreement was like 2016 and there's like a 2019 date. And this was a campaign that's supposed to fulfill in 2021. Or maybe not. Maybe this is the campaign. Uh, okay. Well, whatever. Look at this. This guy's finally getting his book out. Good job. I'm happy for you, man. I am happy for you. Ghoul Scouts, no payments, made in over a year. Digital sales were never reported. Didn't get sales information. That's it. That's it. We finally got to the end of all the allegations of what Action Lab did. This took longer than I thought it would, but there's so much preposterous stuff in here that I just can't believe the things I'm reading. I cannot believe the things I'm reading. I mean, I had skimmed through this and I saw stuff like $25,000 and whatever. And I was like, oh, that's scary. That's bad looking. But none of that was like, oh man, we're doing drugs. We're dropping tabs of acid, which is what this thing turned into. I don't understand it. There is, despite these numbers, if you can start selling more than like 5,000 copies of a book, if you can start selling like more than that, if you can get like 10,000 copies, there actually is real life money to be made making comic books. And in fact, if Action Labs had done something like what Alterna does and runs like a crowd fund for each book, you can pay for all the book costs with a Kickstarter special edition or whatever, and then you whatever you sell in stores becomes gravy. That's like the Brian Polito model. He gets like 200 grand selling his book online on Kickstarter, and then he sells like 10, 15,000 copies in stores too. Like double dip. Get all the money you can get if you're a publisher, if you're a creator. That's my number one tip. Get your money. Get your money. Don't let anybody out there, anyone, me, anyone, stop you from getting your money. Yep. I feel like I'm starting to lose my voice. So March here and whoever's out there lurking, I think I'm gonna call it a night. This there's so much crazy stuff in here. I think we hit like all the good, like the high points in this, but there was so much crazy stuff. I did a check earlier today. I did not see any public facing messages from Action Lab Comics that were newer than a couple months ago. So they are still not acknowledging that anything happened with the book, anything like that online. So there's no news there. Uh, yeah, I'll have to see if I can find somebody with a Pacer account or maybe go make one and see if there have been any filings. In the meantime, you all take care of yourselves. You have a great day, great night, great whatever you got going on when you read this, watch this, see this, and take care of yourselves. Bye bye.